Hello there, welcome to another video of Quick 5. Here we focus on the topic of chemical tests, and this is actually just part 1. So in this quick video, we'll just dive into cation and anion tests. So let's get started. So for the first part of this question, they just mentioned that ammonium chloride contains oppositely charged ion, and they want you to write the formulas of each ion, and that's 2 marks. Okay, so as you can see, the ammonium ion is NH4 plus, and the chloride ion is just Cl minus. But one thing to take note, rather a few things to take note here, is if you look at a comment under the ammonium part, there are some errors that students are still making, and for example, they'll be writing things like NH3 plus instead of NH4 plus. Now this is a very common error because students tend to link ammonia gas, which has the formula of NH3, with ammonium ion, which is NH4 plus. So take note of that. In some cases, there are students who write ammonium formula, but they miss out the charge of plus at the top, or the the superscript. Okay. Now, because in the question they are stating they want the formula of the ion, and the definition of ion is that it is a charged particle. So if you're missing out charges on both the ions, for example, you just write NH4 and Cl without the plus charge for ammonium and negative charge for chloride, you actually get double penalization. That basically means this question you score 0 out of 2. Okay, so take note of all these things. Now, moving on to the next part of the question, where they're asking for chemical tests. They're asking you to describe. Now, when you see command words such as describe, this means you have to actually state all the points required for this chemical test. So you need to focus on the idea that you're going to test for ammonium ion, and this is a 3-mark question, so obviously there will be 3 marking points. So the thinking process here is, okay, so what is the step-by-step procedure or that you need to test for ammonium ion? And usually for chemical tests, you need a testing reagent, or you need a material followed by observation. So you need to be very clear about what you are writing. So the answers to this would be in red. First, you need to actually add sodium hydroxide solution into the unknown, okay, the substance that contains the ammonium ion, and you need to warm it up. Okay, so after a while, you actually would be able to smell a pungent gas produced. The pungent gas is actually ammonia gas. But however, if you write ammonia gas is produced, you are actually not stating an observation, you are describing what is formed. Okay, you're actually identifying. You're not stating the observation. So you actually don't get no marks if you just say ammonia gas is produced, or a pungent gas is produced. Okay, so you need to tell us how you're going to go about that test. You need to say that test with damp red litmus paper. Again, if you drop the word damp, you will not get marks as well. And the observation will be here. The red litmus paper will turn blue. So take note of all these things. So when it comes to this question, there's still a very high confusion between ammonium ion and ammonia gas. So if you haven't get this right, please check in with your teachers or check in with your textbook. Okay, right. For those of you who are just wondering, so then how do we test for ammonia gas? Simply, we just test it with a red litmus paper. This red litmus again must be damp, and you don't actually need to add sodium hydroxide, and no warming is required. Okay, all right. Last part here is describe a chemical test to show that the substance contains chloride ion. Again, you need to think of what reagent to add and what are the observation you will see. Okay, so for chloride ion test, we actually need to add acid first. Do you still remember why is this acid so important? Okay, so if you don't recall, you need a quick check-in. Okay, now we need to add acid is because we want to actually get rid of any potential carbonate before the test, because most of the time anything that combines with carbonate will give us insoluble salt, and we may get a false positive result, such as we see precipitate. Okay, so we add acid first, followed by silver nitrate solution. This is the one that we use to test any halide salt. That means chloride, bromide, iodide. And what will you see if chloride ion is present? You actually will see white precipitate of silver chloride form. Okay, now again, this is the common confusion. Students usually confuse testing of chloride ion with chlorine gas, so please get this right. Okay, and for those of you who need a shortcut, okay, so what's the test for chlorine gas? Just note that chlorine gas actually bleaches damp blue litmus paper, so that is actually the test for chlorine gas. That's all for this portion. Thank you for your time.